If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims.
Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Cloe Couturier. Dr. Cloe is a medical Qigong doctor from China, nationally certified as an energy healing practitioner in the clinical Qigong division. And she's also the author of the book, Pathways to Consciousness Power. She's a certified advanced medical Qigong instructor and osteopath. I love osteopaths, by the way. And we have a lot in common with craniosacral therapy because I took my son to a craniosacral practitioner, which was so amazing. She's also the developer of CraniosacralQigong. Incredible. What an amazing combination. Welcome, Dr. Cloe.
Thank you so much, Carissa, for having me. I was looking forward to meeting you in person because I really enjoyed everything about you, your energy, your style, your interviews, of course. And so I felt also that there was some, really reciprocity between the two of us. I was looking forward to, sharing with you and your audience.
Oh, thank you so much. So I'd love to dive deeper into healing. Do you feel that everyone can heal?
Yes, number one, that's part of our birthright. We are born with abilities. Unfortunately, I would say this is not well known enough, and it needs to be understood that it is part of our birthright. And that we need to exercise it, have a relationship with this self-healing abilities. Because when we do so, we heal faster, number one. And we can heal when we may not realize that we have this ability, that we can do it. The doctor, the medical community is here to support this, not to take it over.
And how did you discover this certainty, this trust that healing is our birthright? Did you have this knowing as you started to study? Was it an experience you had? You have such a grounded truth in that it's our birthright. And so I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's amazing for me to realize that not everybody owns this birthright to the I understand that it is part of who we are and how we're made and designed for by our maker. And so for me, it was pretty much always part of who I was, and yet I was not aware of it until I started doing life. I discovered meditation when I was in my 20s.
Okay.
I believe I was a meditator all my life because I was sucking my thumb when I was a little child, and
that's a type of meditation for kids.
Yeah, it is.
Because singularity, the thumb. Okay.
I found out as a craniosacral osteopath that I was actually doing myself my own craniosacral therapy.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that. I have never heard that from any healing practitioner. Oh my gosh, you blew me away. Oh my gosh. So what about other fingers? Do you think that that's also giving them therapy, or the thumb is special because it's getting in there different?
Right. Oh, I'm so glad we're going there from the get-go. I knew with you we were going to be really out there field.
Yeah.
So where you are, and your questions are so pertinent every time. And so, yeah. And so, when I found out there's actually there's a motion that we do, that the child does when it sucks the thumb. And so that motion is actually facilitating craniosacral rhythm, which has a direct relationship with the motion of the cranium itself, the cranial rhythm, and facilitating the cerebrospinal fluid production within the brain that also goes all the way down to the sacrum, cranium sacrum. That's why my work is CraniosacralQigong, because we take into consideration that midline and the line of the potency of the intelligence of the body. This is also central nervous system, but it's also a dynamic because of the hydraulic of the cerebrospinal fluid, you see. And that's really what craniosacral therapy, craniosacral work, craniosteopathy, all of that biodynamic really touches on, literally touches on with our hands on. We feel that we can facilitate this rhythm. We can enhance this rhythm. We can find where there are blockages and restrictions and help the body push against it to self-correct. You see, that's the intelligence of it. So, yeah, sucking the thumb actually was beneficial on all those dimensions. I did not realize I was that. But
I mean, did your parents have resistance? Because I know, a lot of parents might be resistant to their child sucking their fingers or their thumb, thinking they're going to need braces, not thinking that there is this incredible stimulation and healing that's going on.
Right. And there's a fine line too. Right? Because I grew aware that my parents were against my sucking my thumb because I had to go hide to suck my thumb.
Yes. Yes.
Find a spot where I could just be not noticed and be there comfortable.
This is your meditation.
That's right.
Yes.
Meditation via this process, but what I also understood, and that's also, I'm so glad you're asking this, because I felt embarrassed for the longest time about talking about this. And because it was an addiction also. So there's a fine line.
Oh, yes. Because of the soothing, because it's a way to soothe, like it's an addiction. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So we rely on something and don't given me because of my thumb, but I felt that, I was kind of growing up and still sucking my thumb, and I felt embarrassed. And so after my parents tried everything they could imagine to get me to stop my thumb, I think they just give up on it. And
did they try Tabasco sauce? Spicy?
Mustard, you name it.
You probably liked it. Oh my gosh, I've been there with my daughter, but not thumb. She's doing fingers. So that's why I asked about the fingers. And she's 8, but I still catch her sometimes.
So this is the age when everything turned for me, because I realized
Was it 8? Were you saying it's 8? Oh my gosh. This is amazing.
I'm turning 8 and I'm still sucking my thumb. I'm embarrassed because I'm aware of this now.
Yeah.
So I made the decision I was going to stop sucking my thumb for Mother's Day. That was going to be my present to my mother.
Happy Mother's Day. I love it.
For Mother's Days. And I said, by that date, I will have stopped sucking my thumb. I was almost 8. I was 8 years old because I turned 8 before Mother's Day. And so I remember just, writing down every date I would not suck my thumb, and just like counting and writing down. And that was my Mother's Day card to my mother. And I showed to her that I had stopped sucking my thumb by Mother's Day. And she was her whole life was talking about this card and how important it was.
Oh my gosh.
For me, it was so important because you know what? I can do that. I can do anything I want.
Ooh, yes, empowerment. You're making that decision, and it's all you. It's not forced upon you from your parents or Yeah,
because whatever they did, it didn't work.
That's right.
When I realized at 8 years old, I must stop sucking my thumb. This is the end of it. I got to really end this. And by doing that, I realized and I learned so much, on self-discipline, self-control, consciousness, power of consciousness.
Mm.
I can do it, and just, so this is a tool that I've been using over the years also to help people. To understand,
Yes.
if my 8-year-old little girl could figure this out, you can do it too. And all it takes
Yes.
every day, you just don't do what what you feel it feels like you need to do, but you realize it's not good for you because it's an addiction. And then, just count the days, and little by little, it goes away.
Mm.
The need to do it for the addiction goes away.
Mm.
Because that's not part of our inherent makeup somehow.
Ah, I see. I see. That's a layer that needs to be healed, is what you're implying. Any addiction that we might have.
That's right. That's right. But there's a
Wow.
fine line between the
I'm
habit and the addiction,
I see. I see. Yes, it is a fine line, because sometimes people could consider habits healthy, such as exercise or diet. But like you said, the fine line, if it becomes obsessive or working out. I mean, of course, if you're an athlete and that's your job, you have to work out all the day and be obsessive. So maybe, maybe those type of people get into that where they're in that type of career because they have a tendency to want to be addicted to exercise. But I do find it interesting.
Yeah, because it can be overzealous too, and just
Right.
overusing some parts and not really counting on others that can also be there for the person that they may not realize.
Yeah. So let's go back to your 20s and when you started meditating. We know as a child you were doing your own type of meditation, but then so you got introduced to what type of meditation were you doing?
Well, the teachers came. It just manifested,
It was your destiny, maybe.
It was. It totally was. And, you can only look back and realize, connecting the dots. But when you're doing life, you just keep moving forward, and then you can look back and realize. But because I was this child who was pretty much withdrawn from the collective, because I was more the observer, and I was just capturing what the field was. I was not in the field. I was more like the observer. And
Wow, that sounds very healthy.
That's right. That's right. You see, so I was able to check out. I was the third of 4 children, and
Okay.
and there was a lot of talking, a lot of, intelligent people, very charismatic, brilliant people. And I was kind of the quiet one, observing and learning. And so if there would be too much agitation in my own personal space, I knew I had to kind of remove myself from the collective and be. I figured this out early on.
Yeah.
And so
My dog does that too.
Yes.
She's very sensitive. Anytime there's any agitation, she will leave.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they really absorb the field, huh? And so you have a smart dog too.
Yeah.
But that's what the cage. What do you call that? The cage, the dog pen.
Yeah.
Good to have it.
Place.
They need that. They need that. Isolating and just finding their own center.
Right.
Moving all this.
Yeah. So you found your own tools to manage all of these energies growing up. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? What nationality are you?
I am. I was born in France, and when I was 19 years old, I just knew I was meant to be living in America.
Okay.
Mostly because of my father, who was traveling a lot around the world, and was always coming back with all kind of, gifts and movies and etc. He was an early on cinematographer, and he would take movies and showing America and say, if I were young, I would go to America. And so I knew I had that call. I just knew there was something really, really special about being in America. And the moment I put my foot on the American ground, I was just about 19 years old. I said, this is home. I felt different from the beginning at that point.
Where was that in America?
New York City.
Oh, New York City. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. And so then I wound up just finding my way here. Was my father, who had businesses and, in the States. And so kind of find my way in through his guidance. But you see, I want to go back to your question, because this is really important. I want to answer you. How did I get to that? Well, you already said it. I kind of figured out on my own with no teachers. And that's why I'm very careful about which teacher I'm going to study with.
Well, that's smart.
Right.
A lot of people think just because they are a teacher that we can learn from them, but that is not true. There are special teachers for you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so going back and forth, because I was not just coming from France to America, there was, back and forth until I settled for sure and sound, and I found my way. But every time I would go back to France, I would feel contracted, tight, unhappy, not well, not happy, not well, not happy.
Well, that's interesting.
God.
Yeah. Well, it's so good. Yeah. Freedom. Well, it's so wonderful that you really listened to those feelings, that you were in touch with the physical sensations of your body, because so many times people can't put their finger on it. It's just like, oh, I don't know. I just don't like this place. I feel like more at home here. But yeah, you were having those signs.
And so I knew, knowing that all I need to do is isolate myself from the people and just feel it inside of me. What needs to shift? What needs to change? And it was during an experience that lasted quite a bit of time. It was about 7 days where I isolated myself from the world to understand what is going on in my body, what is going on inside of me. How can I be feeling so good in one place and not the other? And during this time, I received information from inside, beyond, whatever you want to call it. But that part of me that was always part of me, voice of conscience, however you want to describe it, that's the way I relate to it. And so, and that part started talking to me with more clarity. And I understood so much about healing at that point. I was in my 20s. And after that, I was in France, and I heard the message, come back to America, you're done with France, and just know you'll be a master amongst masters, and the teachers will come. And this is really how it happened and unfolded. The teachers came, the doors opened, the information was delivered to me to continue to understand what had happened to me and the transformation that took place, because I was a different looking person before that experience and after that experience. So different that even my family thought I had cosmetic surgery.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Because sometimes when we heal, it can lighten up, it can lift the heaviness. So it's like your family is thinking you had cosmetic surgery is like a facelift. And wow, that's amazing. And even now, I mean, it doesn't even matter your age, but you have this vitality and youthfulness and brightness in your eyes that is it's so welcoming and warm. And so that's so interesting, but it's brave also what you did in your 20s to take 7 days to feel into this.
It was moving me. It was taking me. It was like
Yeah.
my body started moving, my breast started to change,
Ah,
to change. And I was like, well, what's going on here? So my body was taking over, and was showing me how. It's like, oh, this person inside, this body knows exactly how to move. And it's showing me how. And I was showing my husband, Edward, earlier today. I said, this movement here, this is what I did during my experience, and I'm still doing it, on a regular basis. That's how I kind of reset myself. There's a few of those movements that my body did that no teacher ever taught me, by the way, afterwards. I've studied Qigong, of course, because it's about movement and breathing. So I was very selective as far as which teacher I was studying with. I studied with the masters and the grandmasters, because I was invited at the World Congress of Qigong very quickly in my practice. And then so I only studied with the masters from at the world level. Okay. That's master.
the best of the best.
That's how it happened. And I just knew, I recognized them. You could feel them. You could just feel the chi. And feel, oh yeah, I was to study with this teacher, because it resonates with my body. My body was like, right there.
I see. Interesting.
That's the energy.
Yeah.
Energy prana. You want to go different systems of modalities of healing, and medicines have their own ways of interpreting this force. But that's what I mean. It's inherent within ourselves. This is how we are. This is what we're made of. And that's why I was privileged to have a relationship with that part from the start.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me a little bit about Qigong. How did you get introduced to that? Did you start studying with a teacher in New York?
So when there's a story here, a critical story that amplifies, revs up the whole process. This is the first part of my life. And then I got married, and we had 2 children, got divorced eventually. But my husband and I mean, one of our children, our younger child, our son, was diagnosed when he was just about to turn 4 with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And Western medicine, modern medicine, was pretty much telling us there's nothing we can do. Still for muscular dystrophy, Duchenne.
They still say that.
It's still true. There've been all this, attempt to work on the gene, but it hasn't happened. They don't really have anything. And so at that point, they were pretty much telling me that our son, Dorian, was not going to leave to be 18, probably not leave past the teenage years. And so there was a sense of urge at this point from me as his mother, knowing what I knew about the self-healing abilities, understanding the tools. I realized there's more to this, and I must find. That's why the top teachers came in, because I was a single mother at that point too. And so I was pretty much calling the shots as far as finding the help for Dorian, and for me as well, because as a single mother, and knowing what I knew, I had to take care of me and my daughter, of course, because I was pretty much a solo operator at that point. There was no much help. And so I was looking for, a valid and quick, we didn't have time to waste. We need to find teachers and help now that could meet us and give us whatever we could find that would help us. And that's pretty much how I find myself going back to osteopathy college to learn osteopathy, and realizing this is still not helping Dorian very much.
This is not. Yeah. Can you explain a little bit about osteopathy? It's a doctor. It's a DO, correct?
Right. And doctor of osteopathy in America are doctors of a physician,
Yes.
and they prescribe medications. It's like
Mm-hmm.
MD.
It's just like an MD. Mm-hmm.
But in Europe, that's why I went to study in Europe, because I didn't have time, to do all these studies to become a DO. And what does it give me? The same thing as modern medicine gives me, which is nothing. So this is not, what I need to look for. I need to look for people who can get results right away with a hands-on manipulation. And that's pretty much what I looked for and found in France and England. And so that's pretty much what my degree was, because at this point I was really, okay, osteopathy is really about the meeting of Eastern with Western medicine.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I'm glad I'm teaching you this, because this is where Western medicine becomes, or re-becomes, such as a word, becomes again holistic. Because modern Western medicine is no longer holistic by definitions, because it divides everything into a reductionistic medicine where everything is divided. But the whole is not holistic anymore.
That's not right.
So by prescription, for this issue, this pattern, we give this medication, for this, we give that medication. But it's not even looking at the body as one unit anymore. Osteopathy does. Treat the body as one unit. You see, so by definition, osteopathy is holistic, and that's where kind of Eastern and Western medicine start to connect.
Yeah, I believe that. And it's so fascinating, because I saw an osteopath, a DO, in Los Angeles when I lived there, for my daughter. So my daughter wasn't walking. And she was over a year. And so she wasn't hitting her developmental milestones. And she found out that she was nutritionally deficient. She wasn't getting the right food because I was working so much. I had a babysitter and they weren't feeding her properly. So she had me put her on this diet. And I would say in a couple weeks, she started walking.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I really believe in the work you do and osteopathic medicine. I just think it's like so amazing.
Yeah, it is, because we are, as osteopaths, working with that self-healing and self-corrective.
Oh, that's one of the premises.
Number one, treat the body as one unit. The body can self-heal. And so that's really the principles of osteopathy. Let's look into this course, which is really the merging of Qigong with osteopathy into more specifically craniosacral therapy, which is evolution of osteopathy. Osteopathy has different.
Oh, I see. Yeah, tell me about craniosacral. So I mean, someone can just can be like a physical therapist and get a certification, right, in craniosacral therapy?
Yeah, there are different levels of craniosacral. Not all craniosacral therapists are equal. That's really important to know and realize.
Yes, I'm glad you said that.
Craniosacral therapy, they've done, a 3 or 4 day weekend, workshop.
That's right. But there's not any regulation in the US about that. Right.
So, people who are looking for craniosacral therapists need to look for advanced craniosacral practitioners and do their research and realize that, you don't want to just, believe that all the craniosacral therapists are going to help you. That's not true. Well, they may help a little bit, because anyone that comes with a hands-on with intention, like they were, John Upledger, my teacher, was teaching kids, like put your hands on someone who is hurting and, like flowers or rainbow or whatever between your hands.
Oh, visualize something healing for them.
So anyone can do that. And that's my point. Animals do that. Animals are, are healers themselves.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that. But if you want really to work with craniosacral therapy, therapy, you want to find someone who is an advanced practitioner who's been doing it at least for 5 years and continues to train. Okay. Because craniosacral work, I call it craniosacral work, comes from osteopathy originally. And that was Dr. Sutherland, first cranial osteopath, who spent 30 years of his life putting together this model that he was called on, following the teachings of his teacher, Dr. Still, the first osteopath, who was pretty much saying structure and function are interrelated in the whole body. But Dr. Sutherland looked into this, the cranial bones, and how the movement of the cranium is also a structure function related. And so that's why it starts from 1900s. And then by 1930, Dr. Sutherland showed his work, and they treated him like a fool. It's like,
they treated him like it was nonsense.
And today, all the cranial work on the planet comes from the teaching of Dr. Sutherland.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A legend, really.
Yeah.
For the craniosacral work, my son was sleeping on one side. So he had a bit of a, flat head on one side, which maybe is not that much of a problem. I don't know, but I was a new mom. So the doctors were saying, get a helmet. And I was like, I don't know about that. So that's why I was looking for other solutions. And that's when I found craniosacral therapy. And that really, helped him with his head shape.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, tell me about the healing of your son.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dorian really became the teacher, because I learned so much from being his mother, and because of teachers that came to help us, I learned so much from the teachers and how they were helping him. And then I got to, of course, number one, his life was expanded almost twice, the age limit that they were giving us. He passed just short of turning 32. And
Wow. He lived a pretty good life.
He did. Just 1 year less than Jesus, really. But when you think about it,
I did not know that.
It's 33. And look at the change that Jesus manifested on the planet. It was just a short time living his life.
Oh my God. Just as a side note, I never knew Jesus died at 33, and I love threes. Like I have that in my email, 333, the Trinity.
Yeah, I saw that about you too. I agree. Trinity. That's really.
I'm like soaking up all your wisdom. Okay. So your son, they said, how long did they say he had to live when he had this diagnosis?
Which is still true. We call them the kids, as a Jerry's kids, because they were never growing up into to be. So we call them they don't live very long, because without the Qigong and the posture alignment, it comes down to is proper breathing, where and how, know how. This is what we learn from the teachers, because it's more than the breathing. It's about the Qi. You see? So look at a simple way to understand Qi is like we all have to have the right amount of pressure in our tires, right? I don't know about you, I'm very sensitive. It drives my husband crazy because I can pick it up. Like if there's not enough air on my tires, I need to rebalance immediately because I am not comfortable driving. But this is the principle of Qi, you see. You have to have the right amount of Qi in your body for the body to be like straightening up effortlessly, okay, and the drive or the body drive to be proper. But if there's not enough Qi in the Qi spaces, because we have Qi spaces that are meant to be filled up with Qi, that's part of the healing process. But if it's depleted and people are just anxious and depressed and all this other, symptoms that should not happen. When you pump it up again, it was like, if you got what it takes to do life and you're happy doing it. And so that's much how Dorian lived his life. Because normally he had a good time. We always had a good time. We were laughing all along, especially after we turned 18. It was like, what those doctors know anyway? You know what? We're just going to enjoy every moment of our life and we're going to have a good time. Not that we didn't before, but it was like always this fear. I was like, what about 18? Like, does he just like, no, he doesn't. He just keeps going. I have a good time. More good time than ever, actually. He was a very funny guy with an enormous sense of humor. And he would make everybody laugh. Okay. Because he's so smart. And he graduated magna cum laude from FAU, okay, which is top of his class. FAU, Florida Atlantic University, one of the top colleges in Florida. And he was on the front page of the Palm Beach Post when he graduated, with a big smile on his face, of course. And so we were just, most of his friends didn't graduate until like much later on, and without the cum laude either, you know what I mean? So he was a leader.
Really smart.
He was so brilliant and funny, and how he was just loved. People just adored him. And so he was a teacher to all of us, because I'm really
amazing
what life is about. So, okay, he didn't have muscles. Okay, so we're not trying to focus on build muscles if he's born without the muscles. That's not what it's about. I think you have blue eyes or green eyes?
I have blue eyes.
Blue eyes. So it was like, are you going to spend your whole life trying to turn your eyes to be green, which you do want to because your eyes are beautiful anyway, but you see what I mean? This is, if you're born with those beautiful blue eyes, you're going to keep them. You're not going to try to do something with him. Okay, so he didn't have any muscles. Okay, so he's not going to be a mover. He's not going to move furniture. We know that.
Yeah. But he had the use of his mind, which is incredible.
That's right. Exactly. And his sense of humor on top of that, for all of this, because he made us laugh, and we never felt sorry around him, because he never felt sorry for himself. Why would he feel sorry? He had a good life, a great life. But he didn't. People would look at him and say, oh, where was the pity? It was like, dude, you don't know what a great life I have. Look at yourself and look at your life, because
look at yourself. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Fun memories of it, and then because of our, it's not the end either.
Yeah. Do you connect with him sometimes?
All the time, and vice versa.
Yeah, because he was just saying, "Love you, Mom."
We have this code. Oh,
you have a code.
Oh, we do.
Oh, beautiful.
Connect. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. So let's go into some of these other therapies. So manual therapy, what do you feel like that is the same as craniosacral? Like they all go together?
Well, this is an interesting question. Manual therapy is pretty much any therapy where the therapist has hands on and uses their hands for therapy, right?
Okay.
It could be a massage therapist. It can be a therapist. It can be a physical therapist.
Got it.
So any license that gives you the ability to put the hands on, right? Then that would be manual therapy. Craniosacral therapy, for me, is the most sophisticated approach.
I see.
Human body. Why? Because we're dealing with the core link intelligence,
which is the spinal cord,
brain, spinal cord, and meninges, movement of the cranium, the rhythm, but not necessarily limited to that, because we also have another tube in the front that starts with this end and the end with the other end. It's part of the center as well, even though it takes little
has a long route.
Long routes, exactly, with organs attached to it. But That's basically, the calling intelligence of the whole human body. The arms and the legs are sort of appendages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Again, with Dorian, it didn't really matter about his appendages because we knew they were not working very well, but that was not the most important. The most important, he would be like positioned properly in his wheelchair.
I see.
Helpers knew that. If it was not positioned properly in his wheelchair, 10 minutes later, it's like, I need some help here. We're positioned.
Yeah.
Be properly in good posture.
Uh,
If he was lined up properly in good, comfortable posture, he could be there for 4 hours, 5 hours.
wow.
Need anything. But if he was not, 10 minutes later, I need some help. So the helpers knew it's better to invest 15 minutes to have him really, really comfortable in his chair, because then he's good to go. He doesn't need any help.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I want to hear about, thank you for sharing. It's so wonderful how much you light up talking about your son and what a gift he was to humanity, to your family. It's beautiful. So I want to talk about your own process, Craniosacral Qigong. So that is unique to you, correct?
Correct. Thank you so much. I love how you flow into all of this. It's beautiful. I knew you would. It's wonderful. And you have experience too, being a mother. You understand what it is to take care of our children and take good care of our children and find the helpers, the right helpers to take good care of our children. Yeah, bravo.
Thank you.
And it comes from that, really, because you were asking me earlier on, and we never kind of continue how Qigong came, and it was really about the same time when I graduated from osteopathy and came back to America, and the teachers came, and the teachers were the CranioSacral teachers and the Qigong teachers pretty much at the same time. And so I was teaching to a group of massage therapists just a few miles south of where I was living in Florida. And one of my teachers, I was teaching massage therapists craniosacral work, basically. And just after graduating from osteopathy. And
I want to see those massage therapists that took your class.
really touch with them. And one of my students was very, very they're so cool. I just love them. They're really exciting people. Yeah. One of them was a Qigong master. And I was so impressed by him because we were communicating the same thing with different paradigms, different models. He was talking about Chinese energetic medicine, which I had been exposed to in osteopathic college, but not like he was. And I was, teaching craniosacral, and he would be like finishing pretty much the teaching for the students because I wanted him to share with us, and we became like very close together, and just from the teachings, he was a married, happy man. Everything was none of that, and then we would start teaching each other after the class. He would like pick up the phone, call me. We'd be on the phone for 2 hours. He would be teaching me Qigong. I would be teaching him craniosacral. And that's how it started. And I was like blown away of how Qigong was so similar to craniosacral. It's just different approach. One Eastern medicine, Western medicine, same thing. And so that's when I started. And that was early on because I had just graduated from osteopathy college. And that's when it started in 1994. And then 3 years later, 4, 5, 6, 7, I, at that point, was invited by John Upledger, the developer of craniosacral therapy, to work with him on his patients at this clinic.
How did he hear about you? I'm sorry to interrupt, but
thank you.
Like a dream come true.
Yes. When I get back from osteopathic college, before going to osteopathic college, I asked, the divine guidance. I prayed about it. I said, should I study craniosacral therapy now or go to osteopathic college first? And the answer was, get get the information from the osteopathic college and the skills, and then study craniosacral therapy. So when I got back to America, I immediately put my son on a waiting list to see John Upledger, because he had a 2-year waiting list at that point. So I put Dorian on the waiting list to see John Upledger. 2 years later, I had already started to take the Craniosacral courses, and I was about to meet him for the fourth level, for the third level. And I called to get an appointment for Dorian, and the doc, and they say, well, his waiting list is now 5 years because he travels a lot, and he says, So I said, I'm a student of his. I'm an osteopath. My son doesn't have much time. etc. I'm taking the classes. So they said, why don't you write him a letter? This is all in my book. Why don't you write him a letter? So I did. So when I took the class, he had received my letter, and he recognized me right away. He said, oh, that was you. He had picked up on my eyes, because it was like, no, it opened. It was like, oh my God, this is the guy I went to study with. This is no question. He is the one. And so I went to introduce myself. He looked at his agenda. He said, I have an appointment next week. And I was like, yes, we are. Okay, next week. During the session, while he was working with me, and asked me to work with him on Dorian, he said, you're very, very good. I wonder if you would be interested in working with me in the clinic. And I was like,
Thank you.
He said, you're just going to have to show me. You're going to work on me first before. And sure that you pick up what you need to work on. And sure enough, the following week, we were there, and they invited me. So you picked up all the points, and you're right on. You're invited. It's official, and that's how I wound up working with John Upledger again via Dorian. And so in 1997, a few years later, 2 years later, I was working at the clinic, Upledger Clinic. On my desk, I see a flyer. We're looking for speakers for the World Congress on Qigong, and I'm like, oh, I went to Dr. Jones. Dr. John, I need to be there. I need to represent CranioSacral at this conference.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, he's looking at this. It's like, oh my God, Effie Chow. Dr. Effie Chow was the founder of this congress. I said, well, Dr. Effie Chow and I know each other because we have been on the board of National Institute of Health to look for alternate therapies. And I'm Dr. Chow. I've known her. We're on the same board. And it was like, oh my God. So he helped me write the first abstract. And that's why I won first American World Congress on Qigong to present CranioSacral with Qigong. And ever since, I've been continuing, because I'm like, this is the same thing. It's just meant to be together. It's just meant to be together.
Beautiful.
And I prove it time after time after time, because you empower the person with Qi practice. And so they need less help. It's all about empowering them and to understand the power that they have, that you have. I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah, everybody listening.
And this is why we must teach those teachings properly. And the teaching that I've studied and been practicing with Qigong all have that lineage, because I've been studying masters only. I only pick teachers with lineage that happen to be the best.
Wonderful.
Because it's transmitted. If it was not valid, if it was not powerful, it would have disappeared off the face of the world a long time ago. But the fact itself that it keeps being transmitted and it keeps getting better with the transmission is the scientific evidence itself. It's valid.
Absolutely. And I did want to touch on the 23rd World Congress on Integrative Health, Healing with Peace. How was that? And what does that mean to heal with peace? It just feels so good.
Well, and I was awarded, I think you read the information, right? I was awarded, and it was a total surprise. Because I wasn't expecting that. And I say we, because my husband, Edward, has been working with me for the last 12 years. And so we were totally like shocked to receive this award as the Medical Qigong Master of the Year 2023. And when they gave me the award, they reminded me that Rashani Nosler, the one who organized, one of the organizers, reminded me that when I first chose to present at this conference, I told her I knew I was supposed to be there because it's the integration for the first time in the history of this conference, 23 years. I was in the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth, I think. And back then it was kind of new, the Eastern merging with Western. It was, even though it's meant to be there, not too many people were doing that because it takes a lot of education, a lot of years.
Oh, yeah.
But both of them, let alone one.
It's still hard to find. It's still hard to find. There's maybe like one practitioner here where I live. Mm-hmm.
That's right. And so that's why, I knew I was supposed to be there because I feel like this is the time is now. Now people understand the importance of merging Eastern with Western medicine, because from that root, of the traditional Chinese and energetic medicine, which is Qigong, acupuncture, Tai Chi, etc., and the evolution of medicine, modern medicine, or Western medicine, should I say, which is not modern, which is traditional as well, via the bone setters, which is osteopathy, into craniosacral therapy, and then, of course, merging the two of them. So it goes back to what we were talking about before, which is, healing with peace. You gotta be quiet, and you gotta be away from the world to be able to heal. Otherwise, you can't go find that force. And so healing with peace, this is really what craniosacral Qigong is about. Because when we do the practice, we practice on our own. I mean, my husband and I love practicing with each other. That's different. We're still doing the practice. We're still practicing on our own. And then together, and sometimes, if we're not, but seldom, we mostly practice together. But it's still a personal practice, even with others. So it's healing with peace because it's gentle movement, it's relaxing, it's quiet, and then of course the meditation, by definition, it's quiet.
Yes.
And you have to really go into that part, activate that part with the Qigong practice and facilitate the healing process. That's part of who we are. That's why we go back to the beginning of our conversation right here.
Yeah, that's right. I want to touch on your book a little bit, Pathways to Consciousness Power. What is the purpose of it, and how can people get the most out of it?
Some people, I've had some really interesting feedback from people, and some people just said, I like to read just one chapter at a time and meditate on it and just feel it. Some people just read it 4 hours, it's done. It's an easy read. It's a very easy read. It's for everyone. But some people will just want to be like, you can take it at any point, really, in the book. And just kind of trust where you feel like you're drawn, but make sure you read it all, because it's a cohesive piece in itself.
I see.
It's pretty much the evolution, how I got to do this work. We touch on a lot of this today with you.
Yes.
About the book. So thank you so much for your questions and your interest, and I really appreciate your sincerity and your compassion, and you ask good questions, and it's so fluid and how it goes from one to the next.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. Well, it's been such an honor getting to know you, hearing your stories about your son, so inspiring, and about your incredible book, Pathways to Consciousness Power. And I'll put your website and how to buy your book in the show notes. So thanks for being on my show today, Dr. Cloe.
Thank you so much, Carissa, and thank you for all the good work that you do to bring, the awareness for people like me, and all this quality of people that you have in your show that help wake up the consciousness, and that's part of the power of it all. right? So when we can wake up the consciousness to people's lives and true identity of who we are and what we are able to manifest in our lives, and you do that so well with your work. So thank you so much.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey, and join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.
With the state of today's economy, it is more important than ever to invest in products that last for years to come. As the seasons shift and get cooler, make sure your closet is stocked with durable layers that stand the test of time from American Giant. American Giant's clothes work harder and are wearable season after season. Their greatest hoodie ever made is made of the highest quality materials that are cut and sewn right here in the United States. So you're investing right back into your local community. Choosing American Giant means taking a stand for American manufacturing and hardworking Americans, something other mega corporations don't care about. From fleece to knit, all in a range of colors for versatile daily wear, American Giant delivers everyday pieces designed for everyday life. Feel the difference of quality made-to-last clothes from American Giant. Get 20% off your first order with code STAPLE20 at American-Giant.com. That's 20% off your first order at American-Giant.com with code STAPLE20.